Today, we're diving deep into the ancient story behind Holi. We're going to uncover the cosmic battle and the really profound meaning that's hidden inside the festival's famous flames, and of course, all those vibrant colors. But have you ever stopped to wonder, why does a festival that's all about joy kick off with a giant fire? While most of us see Holi as this amazing party with colors and water, its real story actually begins the night before, and it's a tale of a cosmic showdown, a cleverly broken promise, and a child whose faith, well, it just couldn't be broken. Okay, so let's get into it. Our story kicks off thousands of years ago with a demon king who was absolutely determined to conquer death itself. Now this king, his name was Hiranyakashipu. He wasn't just your average powerful king, he was unbelievably ambitious. He performed such intense spiritual penance, something called tapasya, that he literally shook the fabric of the cosmos. It was so powerful that the creator, Lord Brahma, had no choice but to appear before him. So, what does Hiranyakashipu ask for? The one thing every great villain wants: to live forever. But Brahma says, nope. Sorry, that's against the laws of nature. So the king gets clever. He thinks, okay, if I can't live forever, I'll just create a set of conditions for my death that are so specific, so airtight, that nobody could ever possibly pull it off. He was going to become invincible.
And he really tried to cover every single base. He couldn't be killed by a human or by a beast, not inside his palace and not outside in the world, not during the day and not at night, not on the ground and not up in the sky. And for the final touch, no weapon could ever harm him. He had essentially built this fortress of loopholes around his own life. He thought he was untouchable.
So with this new God mode activated, you can just imagine what happened. His ego absolutely exploded. He banned the worship of any other gods and declared himself the one and only supreme being. The whole world was terrified. But right in his own palace, a quiet little revolution was brewing. And it wasn't from an army, but from his own young son. So now let's meet our hero. His name is Prahlada, the child who would become the single biggest threat to the most powerful being on Earth. Just try to imagine this for a second. Your dad is the most feared person alive, and he has forbidden the one thing you hold dearest in your heart. But Prahlada, he had zero fear. Absolutely none. While the entire world was chanting his father's name, Prahlada's heart was beating only for Lord Narayana, another name for Vishnu. His devotion was just so pure, so simple, and completely, totally unbreakable. The king, just furious about this defiance, put his own son through a series of horrifying trials. They were designed to either break his spirit or kill him. And this is where the power of his faith just becomes so clear. The king gave him a cup of deadly poison. Prahlada drank it like it was sweet nectar. He was thrown from a towering cliff. He landed as if he was on a soft bed of roses. War elephants were sent to crush him, and instead they knelt down before him. It just goes to show you, when your faith is deeper than your fear, the universe itself has your back. So, out of ideas and getting pretty desperate, the king turns to his sister, Holika, for one final fiery plot. Now, Holika, she had a special power of her own. She had this magical shawl, a gift that made her completely immune to fire. And the king saw this as the perfect, foolproof weapon to finally get rid of his son. The plan was cold, it was calculated. A giant bonfire was built. Holika would sit right in the middle of the flames with Prahlada on her lap. Her shawl would protect her, she'd be safe, while the boy would be gone. But then, something incredible happens. A divine wind sweeps through the fire and it lifts the shawl right off of Holika and wraps it around Prahlada. And Holika, who used her gift for evil, was consumed by the very flame she thought she controlled. Prahlada, he walked out of the embers completely untouched. And that right there, that is the exact moment we remember every single year with the bonfire on the night before Holi. It's called Holika Dahan, the burning of Holika, and it's this incredibly powerful reminder that true protection, real safety, it doesn't come from magical boons or power, it comes from the purity of your soul. But hold on, the story isn't over yet. The king, seeing his son walk out of that fire, was pushed way beyond rage. And this leads to the final, dramatic confrontation. Just completely losing it, the king screams at his son, "You keep saying your God is everywhere. Well, is he in this pillar?" And with all his might, he smashes his mace against a stone pillar in his court. The pillar cracks, and then it shatters, and from it emerges Narasimha.
Now get this, because this is the absolute genius of the story. Narasimha was the divine loophole to the king's boon. He was half man, half lion, so neither man nor animal. He appeared at twilight, neither day nor night. He dragged the king to the threshold of the palace, neither indoors nor outdoors. He placed him on his lap, neither on the ground nor in the sky. And finally, he used his own claws to end the king's reign, fulfilling the condition of not by any weapon. Every single condition perfectly and brilliantly dismantled.
And just like that, the invincible king was gone. The ego that had terrorized the world was finally defeated, and the balance of the cosmos was restored. So, okay, that explains the fire. But what about the day after? Why do we celebrate this intense victory with such an explosion of absolute joy and color?
Well, the day after Holika Dahan, it's said the whole atmosphere felt purified, you know? The darkness was finally gone, and the colors we play with, they symbolize that very purity, the joy of divine justice and, of course, the vibrant arrival of spring after a long, dark winter.
This tradition of playing with colors is said to have been made famous by Lord Krishna. He would playfully put colors, or gulal, on his beloved Radha and her friends, the gopis. It was this beautiful gesture, his way of saying that in the eyes of love, in the eyes of the divine, we're all the same. And you know, that's the real magic of Holi. When you're covered head to toe in color, you can't tell who's rich or poor, what their job is, or where they come from. All those labels just disappear. You're just a soul celebrating light and life.
So this year, when you stand near that Holika fire, I want to invite you to make this story personal. Ask yourself, what inside of me needs to be offered to these flames? You know, is it my ego, my anger, the way I judge other people?
And then the next day, when you're out there playing with colors, just remember what they really stand for. They aren't just some powder on your skin. They're a physical sign of joy, a celebration of the light of faith winning out over the darkness of doubt. Happy Holi! I hope your life is as colorful and as vibrant as this beautiful festival. And hey, if you enjoyed this explainer, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for joining us.